We're just gonna do this thing.
Yeah, why the hell not?
All right. There's just the opening. Just the opening. Okay, here we go. It happened. It's sad. It's true. It's a real thing. It's 2-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals now, people. Celtics drop a hard-fought but not super close game to the Cavs, 111-102 in Cleveland, squaring the series at 2. And we are going to talk all about that as well as prepping for Game 5 here on the Celtics Roundtable. I'm Jonathan Levy. I am joined by our producer, the man himself, Matthew Ignal. We are, of course, powered by CLNS Media. Matthew, let's just get into this. The Celtics were in trouble from the get-go. They were down 19-10. They were down at the end of the first quarter, 34-18. They fought back. They actually outscored the Cavs in each period after that, but it did not matter. It was not nearly enough. I don't want to say they're not ready to play. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's maybe a little bit of nerves. Al Horford is the veteran. Everyone else is very young on this team, except maybe Marcus Morris. I'm not really sure how old that guy is. No one really is. So I don't know, man. It was weird to watch them miss. I think they missed 5 dunks in the game, too, and they weren't very contested dunks, and usually all of those go in the NBA. Maybe once in a while, one of them is a miss. That's weird. They only lost by, 9 points? What is going on?
I think you said it. It's that they got the shots they wanted. I think they kind of played well enough to win this game. I think they played hard enough to do it. I think that ultimately the shots didn't go in for them and the shots went in for Cleveland. I don't know if you could say that about Game 3 where they clearly got outworked. This game, it seemed like they gave effort for, 3/4 of the game. It just didn't come together for them. And I think that's really ultimately what happened here. I think we have to be encouraged by that going into Game 5. The fact that they sort of played well enough to beat Cleveland. It's just Cleveland just was a lot hotter for most of the game, and the Celtics were ice cold, including at the rim. I mean, gosh, the rim finishing was just terrible today.
Yeah, LeBron James with 44 points, really the only sort of shining star on the Cavs offensively. Besides that, it was spread around. I guess Kyle Korver did have that super hot streak there for a second and a half. But overall, it was just a bunch of guys just doing enough, I guess. And really, it was more the Celtics struggling in big offensive spots. It was tough watching them make what felt like a lot of bad decisions offensively early, especially in the first half. Terry Rozier taking a lot of quick outside shots early in the shot clock. And I guess if they're going in, then we say, hey, he's great, and we can trade him for the 4th pick in the draft and all that. But when they're missing, it reminds us all that Kyrie's a lot better. Marcus Smart comes in, takes a 3 with 8 seconds left on the shot clock. The very next possession takes a 3 with 23 seconds left in the shot clock. Things like that do not help when you have the worst volume 3-point shooter of all time firing up shots. At one point, they said in the game, Mark Jackson, I think, said, if he's going to shoot he can shoot 1 for 9 and still impact the game positively, which is a good thing because he always shoots 1 for 9, man. It is so brutal to watch the decisions of these guys. That really stood out to me. Tatum missed a lot of easy stuff early. Jaylen Brown missed a lot of easy stuff early. They got better along the way, as they were coming back. I agree. It was really heartening to see them cut it to 7 multiple times. It felt like they were back in the game and had a chance. I started to believe.
It just seemed like every single time where they had a chance to really get the game within striking distance, Cleveland went on just like this back-breaking run, and you got to hand it to them. If you were to nitpick the Celtics, where would you start? I know you've mentioned shot selection a little bit before, but for me, it still seems just like the Celtics are a little bit late rotating on LeBron James's drives, and things are just a little bit too easy for him at this point.
I think that's a good one. The other thing which really stood out to me in this game was how the Cavs went after Terry Rozier on basically every possession possible, and the Celtics were, by the 4th quarter, they were helping out and coming in for the double and then switching off as they had done in the previous series.
They do it great. They're amazing at switching, even sometimes on the ball, sometimes when the ball's in the air. Mm-hmm. They're incredible at that. But I do think the easy switch with Rozier onto LeBron happens, 20% too often.
Absolutely. And not just LeBron. I mean, basically, whoever Rozier was guarding, they went after. That's who they got the ball to, and they went after Terry Rozier, and it was highly effective for them. And it either created a mismatch, it created an open 3, created a foul, it created all sorts of good stuff. Now, both teams are doing this, of course, right? The Celtics early on were going after Kevin Love repeatedly also. But Rozier being so short, I mean, he's a point guard. It's fine. But I agree. The Celtics are switching a little too much, or if they're going to switch that much, they have to bring the help sooner, at least in the first half. In the second half, they were better about it. But I'm surprised that they weren't ready for that, too, because it seems like one of the more natural or obvious things that the Cavs are going to attack, because there aren't really any other obvious holes to attack the Celtics defensively at, unless you just give the ball to LeBron and get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. It's just disappointing. Like I really thought that like the Celtics played well enough. It just the shots didn't really go their way, and the shots did for the Cavs. How are you feeling as we head towards the the latter parts of this series?
I mean, I've been a pessimist all playoffs. I got to tell you, I thought they were going to lose the Milwaukee series. I thought they were going to I thought they were going to lose the Sixers series. I was worried we were going to be the first team ever to go up 3-0 and lose. I thought it was very possible. Admittedly, that series was a war, and
Yeah,
5 games does not do it justice.
no.
I've been pretty down on their chances all series long, except for midway through game 2 when they were up by about 11 in the third quarter. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're definitely going to win this game. I can see how we're going to win this game. And I think we're going to win the series. And then with these 2 blowouts, now I think what I believe is going to happen, and obviously I have no idea what I'm talking about. It feels good to not know, is I think the Celtics are going to win game 5 mostly I think they're very likely to win game 5. I expect the Cavs to have no problem winning game 6 in Cleveland. And I think LeBron's going to make sure they win in game 7. And I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I want to be wrong, but that guy is unbelievably good. And he is like Al Horford's never beaten LeBron in the playoffs, I think.
No.
And LeBron has gone, of course, as we know, to the finals. Is it 8 straight years? No, this would be 8 straight. No, it is. It's 8 straight years, right? It's 8 straight
I think
seasons.
this year would be. Oh gosh, yeah, this year would
4
be
with
8.
the Heat, 4 with the Heat, 3 with the Cavs so far. Okay, so this would be 8. I think he's ultimately an irresistible force. The Celtics are not yet ready to stop. They show their youth a little bit with like all the missed dunks, all the missed layups, all that kind of stuff early where it looked like maybe they were feeling their nerves a little bit. Maybe they were just very unlucky, but it's easy to say that, I guess. But the Cavs are an old veteran team who's been here a million times. The Celtics have really never been in this spot. I know they made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. That was with a different roster, and the main players on the team not only were not these guys, but they were much older than these guys. Like Isaiah Thomas was a big part of that team. Now we got Rozier, who barely played in that series. We have Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was there, but he played some, but not a huge amount. Tatum obviously with no playoff experience until this year as well. Horford's the only guy, and I mean, I love that guy. I want him on the team, but he's never beaten LeBron in a series either. And I don't know if this is the time to start. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think next year the Celtics are going to clearly be the best team in the East. It's going to be awesome. I'm not optimistic for this series, but maybe it's coming off of 2 blowouts too. You know how it feels. In the NBA, the momentum is so crushing.
Yeah, I don't think this was a blowout. I think this was a hard-fought game that the Cavs were in control of, but the Celtics certainly had their chances. I mean, we could talk about like innumerable plays where the Celtics caught it down to 8 and just weren't able to capitalize. They got it down to 7 once. Horford had an open 3, which could have cut it to 5 with plenty of time left on the clock. The third quarter, I mean, the pace was at a crawl. The Celtics certainly had their chances there. As far as the prospects for the rest of the series, I mean, we do have to mention that the Celtics have not lost at home. They have 2 more games at home. And you got to figure LeBron James is due to miss some of these jumpers at some point. It's been 3 straight games. He's not, historically, he's not a great jump shooter. He's a solid one. But, I mean, he's been on fire from, mid-range for, pretty much the majority of this series. I do think that the Celtics are a little bit deeper than the Cavs. I think they have a little bit more two-way capability than the Cavs. But I mean, God, it's just night and day with this team, home versus away. With it seems like luck seems to swing their way at home, and it seems to swing the opposite way on the road. I mean, undefeated so far. I mean, you got to feel okay about their chances. I think, even if LeBron's on the other side.
I mean, look. I think the thing you're not really thinking about is that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35, Matthew. And, you may have to think also, how many friends do you know whose hairline is starting to trend in the wrong direction? Maybe that's even you, Matt, although looking at you, maybe not yet. You're not 35 yet either, are you? Because by the time you or your friend notice, this is the ad I'm doing in case you're not clear, audience, that hair loss is becoming a problem. It is too late. You got to stop procrastinating and start turning to weird hair loss solutions, and no one wants to do that. Instead, we got Hims. That's your one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. We got it all when you turn 40, people. Totally covered. The best part about Hims is that they connect you with real doctors, not fake ones, to treat your hair loss with actual medical-grade solutions. We're not talking about concoctions that you make at home, which is good. We're talking about prescription solutions backed by science, also good. Just go to forhims.com right now. Sign up is easy. You answer a few quick questions, and a doctor will be assigned to you. Products are shipped directly to your door. You don't have to wait in line for hours. It comes to you. And listeners, we're going to give you a special trial month of Hims for just $5 today while supplies last. You go to the website to get all the details. It would normally cost you hundreds of bucks if you went to your local pharmacy. Instead, use the promo code. It's forhims.com and /Celtics. That's forhims.com /Celtics. So You got to check that out, even though we got the hair.
Yeah. Well, joke's on you, Levy. I have no friends.
Oh, that's tough too. I'm sorry to hear that. But let's get back to the Celtics and and this playoffs. One of the things that makes this loss and the way this series has gone so far anyway, the last 2 games, I guess, a little bit easier for me, Matt, is the knowledge that if the Celtics were to win this series, which would be exciting and great, we'd get bombed in the playoffs, right? I mean, the finals. We're getting crushed. 5 games would be a success, I feel like, for the Celtics, right? If they got to 6, it would be, we'd throw a party. 7 is a pipe dream that will never happen. But a sweep is very reasonable and possible as well.
Are you assuming it's the Warriors at this point?
I'm believing it's going to be the Warriors. I think if it's Houston, it's probably 6, not 5. If it's the Warriors, it's 5 or 4 probably. Next year, the Celtics are going to be fully loaded, and I think we'll be able to give Golden State a legitimate run for their money. And I don't know who the favorite is in that series next year. If you bring back a healthy Kyrie, a healthy Hayward, and this team, Tatum another year older, Jaylen Brown another year older, you don't trade Rozier or you move him for a piece which makes you better right now. I don't know. That team might be good enough to actually beat the Warriors legitimately in 7 games. Like normally, like if you run that series 100 times, they might win more than 50 of them. And that's pretty damn exciting. But this year, to me, this series is our Super Bowl, the Celtics Super Bowl. And being 2-2 is very exciting. And I hope they win. I want to get to the finals. Man, do I want to get to the finals. But there's no ring at the end of that rainbow either, I don't think. Do you agree with that or what?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, can we count out Houston completely just yet? I'm not sure. I do think that the Celtics would have like a long shot chance against the Houston Rockets, and they have played the Warriors well. But I agree with you that that would be a true long shot. The teams that the Celtics have played thus far in the playoffs, Milwaukee, they're 7th seed. They have some talented players who may transfer well to the playoffs, but I mean, they're no great shakes. Philadelphia was young as hell. You know, they're the guys with the ball in their hands were extremely young. But I mean, that was an excellent series for the Celtics to win. And then, you know, even if they were to get by this Cavs team is extremely flawed. They were the second to last defense in the entire NBA. They don't have much of a bench to speak of. Jeff Green, every time he takes a shot, it's like a little bit of a celebration in my head.
That's right.
I mean, their guys. I mean, half their guys just have like offers every other game. So I mean, this isn't a great Cleveland team, and by extension, this isn't a great Celtics team. Yeah, I mean, nothing's guaranteed in the NBA. No. You know.
Right. I mean, Hayward played for 5 minutes, right, and that was it. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I will say this about Philly though, that the Celtics have got them coming and going when it comes to brain trust. They got by far the better coach. They have by far the general manager now that Sam Hinkie's gone. I trust Brian Colangelo to screw that thing up. He already kind of has with the Fultz trade pretty badly. He's made some other bad moves too. I expect him just to keep messing up and like bit by bit, like 1,000 paper cuts, Philly to be weaker than they otherwise should be. You know, giving away assets that he shouldn't be giving away. He should be building his team for 5 years from now, but I expect he's going to be in win now mode right away. Of course, you can get Kawhi. You should get Kawhi if you don't have to give up one of your big time players or, you know, spots. But, you know, so something like that's fine. But watching him just like sign the Ilyasovas of the world instead of trying to develop all the young talent, they've got so many picks and so many things they could be doing. I don't know. I feel like it's really going to continue to hurt them unless they get very, very lucky. Now, Fultz could still ultimately work out, but I am now, by the way, of the mind that Fultz is not going to work out. I don't think like
you gotta
I
shoot.
used to play basketball. Yeah, right. I played basketball in high school. I played basketball in college, and not like you know intramural. I like started on the varsity teams in both spots. I was the MVP. I was the leading scorer in college.
No
I was
kidding.
pretty good. I was. It was a Division III school. Let's not go crazy. But still, my point is this: I know what it's like to like start shooting and not have your shot, and how long it takes to get your shot back. It takes like 20 minutes. And if it's been a while, it takes like 40 minutes. It doesn't take 9 months. It never takes 9 months. So this points to something deep that's going on with Markelle. Deep. And I don't think that's fixable. Maybe he'll get it all together. He clearly has a lot of physical talent, but I don't think he's ever going to be a star. I think it's really hard for him to be a star at this point. And if Philly can move him and some other pieces for a guy like Kawhi, they should do it as soon as possible. But boy, did Colangelo didn't just take the wrong guy. He gave up what is now going to be the Sacramento pick unless the Celtics get very unlucky. Like, what a disaster. What a disaster. This is to me, it's just like a perfect example of them just screwing it up left and right.
What do you think are the chances the Celtics move that Sacramento pick before draft day 2019?
I didn't think it was going to be very high, but the more I hear them talking to guys like Michael Porter Jr. and things like that, I'm starting to believe, you know, Ainge may be looking and saying, we only have Rozier for one more year anyway. We still have Marcus Smart. If we sign Smart, we don't have, I mean, we can keep Rozier, but we got a lot more young players coming in through the pipeline. Let's get another like great piece right now. My question is, if they get any kind of wing or forward type player, we have Hayward, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Where is that guy supposed to play? Like, forget about this year, but like 2 years from now. Is Hayward supposed to not be on the team? He's going to be like 30. He still could be in his prime. So that seems weird to me, but I guess if Ainge thinks Porter Jr. is the next Kevin Durant or something close to it, you just make the deal and don't worry about it. Figure it out. Let Brad Stevens sort it out, Start Hayward at center. I don't know. It gets weird.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't put anything past Danny, including them blowing up parts, not all this team, but parts of this team again, because they're willing to do it if they think there's a better play out there, and they're not afraid, and I love that about them.
I do think that the Celtics will look to move Rozier. I don't know. It probably is unlikely to get done at this point. But if you could package him in the Kings pick and see where you could get in the draft, it doesn't have to be a wing. It could be a big. So
can we do Rozier in like the Memphis pick?
That'd be nice.
Get in
right?
Get in like number 8.
I mean, when you're asset rich, they're going to ask a little bit more. I think we saw that in the Kyrie trade.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But the Kyrie trade ends up looking like a steal. What a deal for us.
I guess. I mean, it'd be nice if he
were
healthy.
Big question.
Do you think they're going to max him?
Max? Kyrie? I think they don't. It's not super max, right? It's just normal max, right?
Yeah, just a 7 to 9 year. He's not eligible for the DVE. It's 30% of the cap.
I expect they will. I don't think you trade the Brooklyn pick and all that stuff. You're a big bite at the apple in this year. What at the time at least looked like that. Looked like the Cavs are going to be better than us this year, right? And it turns out it's questionable. Without the plan anyway of keeping Kyrie. If Kyrie's knee was in a different kind of shape, but he just got normal, like clean it out level surgery. He's supposedly essentially 100% and will be, and no one has any concerns about that. I'd be shocked if they don't max him out or effectively max him out.
Right. I mean, if he gets another injury and misses the playoffs next year, I mean, I think that throws everything into question. But if things go as we expect, then I mean, I think you got to offer him the max. He's you don't have another point guard waiting in the wings. I mean, Terry Rozier's a good player, but ultimately though, he's not a player that you truly want to build around.
Right. I mean, also, like, he's better than Smart when it comes to shot selection and also field goal percentage, but he ain't great at any of that stuff. And I know he was on fire through most of these playoffs. But I think that may have clouded our vision of him a little bit. Certainly did for me, where I started to believe that maybe he was that guy instead of, somewhere between what he's been doing for all season and what he's been doing for the last month and a half is probably more realistic, right? And he's played very well overall, but, I think he really hurt them in this game tonight anyway. And, I don't expect that to continue. I expect him to be good the next game, and I'm happy to have him there. Like, what a deal. Like, having Terry Rozier. I still remember when Ainge took him 16th overall, and he was getting all the critique, and he came out and he said, I took the guy who I thought had the most upside. This is the guy I believed in, and as usual, Ainge was proven right. Everyone wanted him to take R.J. Hunter at 16. But turns out Terry Rozier was the right pick once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, he's winning. He's helping to win playoff series. Not everybody can do that. I think that's indicative of a top 25 point guard, something like that.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. And also, he hits big shots in big moments. We saw him hit that big 3 against
since Summer League.
That's right. Since Summer League. All right, that is going to wrap it up here for Celtics Roundtable. Thank you so much for watching. For Matt Ignal, I'm Jonathan Levy. Hey, if you liked what you were watching there, hit the like button and subscribe to CLNS Media. If you're watching us, if you're listening to us on the go, subscribe to the Boston Celtics news feed. Of course, we're available on your favorite podcast app or by downloading the CLNS Radio mobile app. And get this is crazy. The technology these days, I tell you. You can now access the Celtics news feed on Amazon Alexa. Simply say, enable Celtics news feed, and Alexa will do the rest. Get all your breaking news, quick game recaps, and roundtables each morning by asking Alexa for your Celtics news flash. If you want, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at CLNS Roundtable. Besides that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you after Game 5. Man, I hope it's 3-2.